Hello everyone and welcome to the second session, Azure DDoS Protection Simulation Training. During my session, I will explain importance Azure DDoS Protection Simulation Training because that is the great way to ensure for your system are prepared to handle potential DDoS attack. And we have a lot of key points and resources how we can start it with simulation training regarding DDoS protection, but conducting periodic simulation training helps you in order to validate that your service continue to function expected during the attack, and also that help a lot of organization to identify the gaps in your DDoS response strategy, because you must define DDoS response strategy in order to prevent this type of attack. And how we improve testing partner, because Azure has approved partner like Breaking Point Cloud, Maze Bold, Red Button, for example, Red Wolf for conducting DDoS attack simulation. And you have a lot of training benefits because simulation help a lot of organization in how to optimize your incident response process, how document DDoS compliance, how to train your network security teams, for example. That is also important. And you have, I will explain actually tutorial on Azure DDoS Protection Simulation Training. That is a very comprehensive guide on Microsoft Learn, walks you through setting up your testing environment, how you configure, how you protect your public load balancer, for example, with Azure DDoS protection, how create the DDoS protection plan, how create virtual networks with the DDoS protection and bastion service enable, for example. That is very important part of these steps. How to create standard, for example, SKU public load balancer in front-end IP, Hub Pro backend configuration, load balancer rule, how to create an IT gateway for outbound internet access from the backend pool, and finally, how to create some virtual machine. During this workshop, I will create 2 virtual machines and install and configure yes on VM, and in order to demonstrate the port forwarding load balancing rule. The prerequisite, of course, you must have some Azure account, you must have active subscription, and the first, how we create DDoS protection plan. But in agenda, I will combine my presentation with my practical work and demonstrate Azure DDoS Protection Simulation Training. But during this agenda, I will explain also DDoS protection virtual machine architecture, how we protect with key features, what is actually key feature when we discuss about Azure DDoS protection strategy. Pricing plan is also very important part, how we configure simulation testing policy, how we mitigate this policy, and how we actually test this policy. That is also important steps in our strategy. Okay, we can start with some architecture, basic architecture that is combined with application design best practices, of course, provide some enhanced DDoS mitigation feature, defend against DDoS attack, and that is automatically tuned to protect protect a specific Azure resource in virtual network. Protection is how to enable any new, any existing virtual networks in humans, and you have actually internet public IP address, and between resources, resource group and your Azure SQL database, you have, of course, application gateway with combination web application firewall, and in some virtual network, I previously create some DDoS protection plan, and of course we must have and actually define the strategy for this plan in order to mitigate, because Azure DDoS protection protect at layer 3 and layer 4 in network layer, and for application protection actually that is layer 7 but you will need to add some protection at application layer using the WAF offering. And actually you have different tiers, but basic Azure DDoS protection architecture explained with the point of view human spoke technology, some standard DDoS protection plan with the public IP address I have in my Hub virtual network, Azure Bastion or Azure Firewall or VPN gateway, and connected from my on-premise network, for example. I peering virtual network between Hub and Spoke with diagnostic and the Azure Monitor. That is included in my DDoS protection strategy, and forcing tunneling between Azure Firewall and my resource subnet with my virtual machine. And of course, I have peering virtual network between I mentioned Hub and Spoke topology, and that is how we understand the basic architecture regarding this option. After that, we have I mentioned important part, tiers. Actually, we have two main tiers. DDoS network protection, that is actually combined with application design with lot of best practice that is automatically tuned to help protect your specific Azure resource. For example, I will explain during how I create and configure some Azure DDoS network protection using Azure Firewall, and in combination with Azure Firewall, but using in Azure Portal. DDoS IP protection is paid per protection IP model, and DDoS rapid response support, cost protection, and a lot of information how we discount on the web application firewall. But when I create and configure some IP protection using Azure PowerShell, that is also a very, very good example, DDoS IP protection tier. And finally, we have a lot of key features when I discuss about traffic monitoring, 20 hours per day, 7 days in week, and I'm looking a lot of indicators about DDoS attack, like always on traffic monitoring. Adversarial time tuning is also important part, how we profile and learn your application traffic over time, select update profile, most suitable for your services, and I can very easily adjust my traffic change over time. DDoS protection analytic metric analytic. We combine with a lot of DDoS protection plan like TCP SYN or TCP and UDP, and for each public IP I can define some protected resources for my virtual network when I can my DDoS plan enable. And the policy threshold also is very important, how I auto configure machine and everything, attack analytics with how we define some stream mitigation on Microsoft Sentinel, offline security information event management system for the real-time monitoring attack. When we discuss about diagnostic logging, that is also very important. Attack metric is also, in order to summarize, metric from attack. You will see when we view and configure some DDoS protection telemetry to learn more, and the attack alerting, for example, Azure DDoS rapid response for many attack, a native platform integration, extensive mitigation scale for L3 and L4 attack vector. I can use when I deploy with my web application firewall, for example, a lot of network layer and application layer. That is actually how we understand multi-level layer approach and protection. Turnkey protection in simplified configuration, protect all resources for virtual network as soon DDoS network protection is enabled. And cost guarantee in point of view how we receive data transfer and application, scale out a service for credit for resources, cost, and everything. That is also important. And actually, when we discuss about architecture, we must define under tenant single DDoS protection plan can be used for multiple subscription. There is not need to create more than one DDoS protection plan. That is and best practice. How I maximize my DDoS protection. How I design application infrastructure with a lot of redundancy and resilience. How we implement multi-layer security approach, including network my application. How I involve in my strategy and data protection also is very important. How prepare incident response plan to be ensure how to properly coordinate with the response to DDoS attack. And I have actually public IP with my load balancer. That is my task for today. How we work, and actually I create a lot of resources. I must set virtual machine scale set inside my subnet virtual network. I define my DDoS network protection and enable diagnostic log, and when I enable storage account included in my virtual machine. Yes, I mentioned Azure DDoS protection pricing. That is how we protect, how we understand our Azure resources from distributed and denial of service attack, and always on monitoring. And when I define some Azure DDoS protection plan, for example, pricing, yes, that is better to explain here in this in Azure Microsoft.com. You have pricing details for your DDoS protection, and I can explore the pricing option for my strategy in my, for example, region, because I'm from my location, West Europe. I define my currency model, and of course, I have two tabs. First tab is actually for network protection. We have with a fixed monthly change, which includes protection for the 100 public IP address. And you can see public charge, including protection for this public IP resource, and overall charge. In IP protection plan, I can define monthly charge per public IP protection. That is actually 199 per month, the price. based on my location, and I have example some resources, data process, scale out for my virtual machine, for example, Azure Kubernetes service data, scale out for backend platform as a service application. And regarding what is my plan, actually, I have a lot of option, and Microsoft explained here in 4 explanation for my network protection plan across my, for example, tenant with multiple subscription, with multiple VNets, and Azure Application Gateway finally in my WEF strategy. And actually, I have also a pricing calculator for my job, and I can define regarding what is my resources. Virtual machine, storage account, application service, and lot of this option. Yes, and we have actually base of DDoS protection analytic metric and alertic. I can define some attack analytics deeper inside in my nature DDoS protection, and provide a detailed report for my attack vector. And actually, I can define traffic patterns. I can define attack sources, attack metric, track any performance indicator for my KPI regarding this type of DDoS attack. But complexity of attack, that is actually how we understand adaptive real-time tuning, multi-vector DDoS attack, and application-specific behaviors of tenant call per customer. And I can define automatic learning per customer for my traffic pattern for my layer 3 and 4, for example. I can minimize false positives, consider what is my scale of Azure, allows to absorb some significant amount of traffic. And you can see this attack traffic in combination with my DDoS mitigation and policy. I can define my virtual machine scale set for my customers, and actually 2 public IP in my network PPS regarding of time based on my network utilization. That is actually I can create that and define my policy generation. Regarding my DDoS protection telemetry, monitoring and alerting, I can expose some rich telemetry for my Azure protection. I can configure alerts from my monitor metric for my DDoS protection users. I will explain during my session, and I can integrate in login and with my CM, Azure monitor logs, Azure storage, and everything regarding this. And one most important thing is how we define DDoS mitigation policy, because that is very easy. I'm in Azure portal, I can click monitor, then metrics, and in the metrics plane I can select my resource group, select what is my type of public IP address, and select my Azure public IP address. DDoS metric is actually visible in available metric plan. You can view the policy actually thresholds by selecting metric inbound packet in my trigger DDoS mitigation, and this policy explain threshold how we auto configure via virtual machine learning-based network traffic pooling, and I can define some inbound UDP packet for my trigger DDoS mitigation, and of course TCP and UDP. And regarding my DDoS gateway IP address, I can define, for example, chart type, line, and time range is past week and I can see all information, how we configure ours for my resources, how I defined what is my actual inbound synchronization packets for my TCP and UDP. In this case, that is 100 kilobyte per second, and actually we can define a lot of metrics for application, and how we that is a simple way how we defined a mitigation policy for this. And I mentioned in the public IP address, when we have attack, the value of the metric is very important, and I can define some metric for my IP address under DDoS attack. And for example, not change from one as DDoS protection performs some mitigation. Recommend configuring alert on this metric, and after that you'll be definitely notified in that strategy. That is a very good example for comparison. I have some feature in this slide, and with my mitigation policy metric alert report flow log policy customization, and you can see a difference between basic and standard plan. For DDoS strategy, standard plan include a lot of additional feature that is very important to understand this. You don't have possibility to define the metric alerts, mitigation report, flow logs, and mitigation policy customization when we discuss about basic DDoS plan. And you have a lot of different type of attack for when you must understand this type of attack when you define your DDoS protection strategy. Volumetric attack is very important to understand, because this attack float for network layer amount includes some UDP floats, application floats. DDoS protection mitigates potential multi-gigabyte attack, absorbing and scrambling them. You can see on this slide a lot of information for protocol attack. Most important scene flood attack, reflecting attack, protocol attack, how we blocking malicious traffics, interacting with the clients, and finally on the layer 7 I mentioned, you can include the HTTP protocol violation, SQL rejection, cross-site scripting, when we discuss about web application firewall, such in combination with the Azure application gateway, and actually how you the best way provide your strategy against this type of attack, and a lot of other attack. And when we discuss about our strategy, we must define actually a type of testing policy. I mentioned on the beginning of presentation, and actually we have a lot of different type for this option. The first that is my focus for today is to explain breaking point cloud, and that is a self-service traffic generator. When that is very useful for attack simulation. I can generate some traffic against DDoS protection, enable in the public endpoint for simulation. Bolt is also actually radar platform continuously identify, enable elimination of some DDoS vulnerability. Red button work with dedicated team to expert to simulate a real DDoS attack scenario in your environment. And finally, you can use Red Wolf. That is also very good self-service white line DDoS testing provider with real-time control, and many others. And actually, I can start with my demo lab. What is my focus? To show you actually how we create resources. For today, the first phase and most important thing is to create some DDoS protection plan, and that is very easy to understand how we work with DDoS protection plan. I can search booktop on the portal, enter DDoS protection, and here is my DDoS protection plan. I can use my subscription for that. Resource group, I can define some new group. DDoS protection, for example. Focus for our work for today, and the name that is actually my DDoS protection plan. For example, Uroš DDoS protection plan in my region, for example, France Central. I will work for today in France Central. That is very, very close my location, and that is I can click here in very easy. The first step is to create DDoS protection plan. The second actually stage is we must define some virtual network for our work, and I will create virtual network. I will create subnet, Azure Bastion host, and associate with my DDoS protection plan. My DDoS protection plan is finished now, and I can click here virtual network. I can click virtual networks, and we can create here new. I select my subscription regarding my DDoS protection resources group, and I can define, for example, virtual net DDoS, for example. Also, I define my location here in France Central. That is good. With the point of view security, I can define. I have now not changed, but the IP address. I enter my 10.1.0.0. In a subnet name, I can define default, but I can go in add subnet, or we have possibility here to edit subnet. That is also option. I can define, for example, here in the name, my backend subnet, and subject address range is 10.1/24. Yes, that is C class subnet. Yes, and I can here I don't have a change for my net security group now. Net security part I can add here and select after that my security tab here, and I can click on Bastion part enable. When I check enable Azure Bastion, I have define Azure Bastion host name and Azure Bastion public IP address. That is public IP address, but I can click select new. For example, my Bastion IP address, and here I can select OK. And under Azure DDoS Protection network protection, I can click enable. And I previously defined my DDoS protection plan. That is all when I create my virtual network. I think I can click here, create, and in initialize and accessibility deployment. Deployment is progress. That's the third stage now is how we define our load balancer, how we create a load balancer, because I must create zone redundant load balancer, that load balancer virtual machine with zone redundancy 1 and more availability zone can fail and data path survives long. During the creation, I will configure front-end IP address, backend pool, inbound load balancing rule, how to probe and everything. And I can in search box stop portal enter my load balancer option. Okay. I create a load balancer. In the basic tab, I can see my subscription and my resources group. I can define some name, for example, my load balancer. In my previously defined region, I can define in SQ leave default standard plan, and I can define here type, public, and regional tier. That is how we understand. And I can go now in front-end IP configuration. I can add front IP configuration, my front-end, for example, in the name. I can define IP version 4. I select my IP address for the IP type and public. I can define some, create new, for example, public IP address. I don't know, for example, never mind, my public IP address here. And zone redundant is I previously explained in my availability zone here, and Microsoft network is default. Here I can click here, save, and select here from my front-end configuration. Okay, and go back in go next in my backend pool. I can define some backend pool name. Never mind my backend pool or Roche backend pool. And I create virtual network. I previously defined here my virtual network. In DDoS Protection Resources group, of course. And I can select here IP address for backend pool configuration and select here save. In the next, I can define inbound rule for the bottom of page and load balancing lower inbound, or I can add inbound, add load balancing rule, the first. For example, my HTTP rule. With IPv4, setting my front end to be created. Backend pool I previously defined, and protocol is TCP for port 80 and backend port also. And in the help probe, I can define new with new name, my help probe. Yes, with TCP protocol, or is default here. I don't have any change. In session persistence, that is a known, enter to select here in the INL 15. TCP reset is enabled. Floating IP is disabled. Recommended all the section here. I can select here in order to add. And I don't have any here change in customization. I can click review create and waiting my final validation in order to create my resources. And we successfully created load balancer option for this part of actually how we configure our DDoS protection strategy. The second is a net gateway. How we create, how we configure. I can click here to create, and I can define my resources group, net name my net gateway, for example, in my region, France Central. Availability zone is a known. In idle time, I previously defined 15. Here, and I can click in outbound IP address, public IP address. I create new public IP address here. Then be the name, my net gateway IP address, for example. Okay. And I can select OK in public IP address tab. No, I don't have any change in my prefixes here. In public, in subnet part, I don't have any change. I can select here my virtual network and select my backend subnet here. I can click Review Create here button and create my network address translation gateway. And finally, I can define two virtual machines. I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation. That is also part how we protect load balancer regarding the DOS stack. I will create two virtual machines. Here, the first my machine. I can define my resources group. For example, VM1, never mind. In my, I can define availability zone, that is zone 1. In the first example, I can define security group is here is a standard. And that is actually Windows virtual machine with data center Azure Edition Generation 2. 22. This is option here and leave default, and I'm checking for spot instance here. Side is a standard. I can define some username, my Azure users, and my password. I select no here in the public inbound port. In a networking tab, I can click disk, and after that, my networking, I can use for this standard SSD, for example, never mind, image default 127 gigabytes, buffer management key. With any change, I can define here, that is very important. I select my virtual network. In my subnet, plan, public IP address, I can select no now. And network security group is actually an advanced option. I select my backend pool here. I can skip here this, and the rest of the settings are completed. We will continue and leave default and select delete NIC. Accelerated is also default. I can select here my load balancer, that is very important. I can select my load balancer regarding my DDoS protection plan and select my backend pool here. And in configure network security group, here, I can define new, my network security group, never mind. But that is very important to properly configure now. Under inbound rules, I can define here, for example, In the service, I can select HTTP. Under priority, I enter 100. 100. In the name, I can define my network security group role. I select here add, and okay. That is it. I can here go in review, create, and create my virtual machine. I can follow the steps between 1 and 7 in order to create another virtual machine and other settings here, but I can choose other availability zone. For example, with my network security group here, I can define zone 2, and I can select existing my network security group when I create here. And okay, we can start with create new virtual machine in an easy way. For my resources group, that is virtual machine 2. My ability zone is actually zone 2 here. I can define my standard plan with my image. I previously defined the east. And this is user with my defined password policy. Public inbound port is known here. That is in disk like previous. In the networking, I can define like previously create my virtual machine to the IP address here. I previously defined here my public IP address here. That is automatically create. Okay, and that is in advanced option here. For your network security group, I can create new security group, my network security group 2, for example, like previously. I add inbound rule in service HTTP, priority 100, and allow inbound. Never mind. That is also actually previously created here. Azure load balancer with my settings. In the management, nothing, monitoring with storage account, standard, everything is added by default. Okay, I can click here in order to click. Okay, maybe. Okay, create new. And create my second virtual machine. Okay. The last part of our workshop today is how we create ES. I go in my settings for my virtual machine 1, for example, in order to show you. And when I go in my virtual machine 1, I can go in connect here, and I have option to connect to go to Bastion. I can enter my username and password. I previously defined. Okay. I can click here connect in order to connect for my Bastion session. My idea is to, on the server desktop, I can navigate in Windows PowerShell and I create some PowerShell configuration. First steps in order to install ES server with my role and remove default file HTML, and after that I can add some new HTML file, the display server name and everything. Okay, I can go in PowerShell now. Okay. But I also waiting my server manager in order to settings or parameter here. Okay, I can install my Windows feature with my role. I can go again. Because I must run to administrator for this proposal. I can zoom in order to better visualize for you. But yes, the first steps is install ES server role for my work. I start installation. It takes some time, but it's very close to finish. After that, I can remove some default HTML role and add new HTML display server name. And that is also best practice to go to work for your work to test with installation for your second machine also. After that, you can close the Bastion session and and you can start with installation. Yes, I can remove items here and add context here for my work. Okay, and we can start with testing load balancer here. I can check its work now. That is actually my IP address here. And you can see I have a great response. Hello world for my IP address. Actually, that is how we understand this and very easy test load balancer with your public IP address. And my recommendation, of course for you to repeat work and repeat all steps with point of view to show and install ES for your second virtual machine. And that is a prerequisite for how we protect our public IP address for load balancer with Azure DDoS protection. After that, in our tutorial, we have a lot of different prerequisite for attack simulation testing. You can go now, for example, in Azure portal again, and go in monitor part and click here diagnostic settings. And I can add my new diagnostic settings when I define. You can see a lot of, I can define my resource group for DDoS protection here, and I can select my resources, what is my focus. Here I can uncheck all and leave public IP address with my public IP address. I previously defined my public IP address. And when I settings filtering here, I have possibility for add diagnostic settings. It's very easy way. I can select subscription. I can define some one. I can define all logs and all metric, and I can send my log analytic when I previously defined in my region. For my log analytic workspace, that is a central place for all my log, all my security logs, or my operation log here, and I have defined actually my diagnostic settings for my work. After that, I can go again in and create some alerts. Alerts, I can create new alerts here, add alert rule for my work and for my Azure subscription. And my public IP address. And for my location, France center. And I can see my public IP address for my work and for my, because everything is I define in my plan here. I can check this option here, and after that I have option for my to apply. And when I'm done, I can define a lot of, I can select signal under DOS attack or not, for example. And after that, I have option to create threshold value for example, 1. Every check 1 minute, slowback period 5 minutes. Greater than or equal to, for example. Okay. Yeah, I can define some action group here and select here some DDoS alerts action group, never mind. I don't previously define this group, but I can create with my resources group and region. It can be global, never mind. Condition group name. This name is my DDoS alerts, for example. My DDoS alerts. I can define in notification type here. Notification type, email address for push voice with the name, my mail, for example. I can define here and name my this mail alerts, my under attack email alerts. Okay. In action, I don't have any change. I can click here, review, create, and create. But I can go in details and define the warning here for my alert name, my DDoS alert, for example. And that is all what we're doing in order to configure after DDoS attack simulation. The next steps is I can back to my work on my presentation. Breaking point cloud is one of the self-service generator when you can create traffic against DDoS protection, enable public endpoint for simulation, and you can see my public IP address with my port number. I can define my DDoS profile with UDP 16.4 byte float and test size with 100 kilobyte PPS and 15 megabytes and 2 sources IP address and test duration. Never mind. I can choose. And after that, when I click on the start test, I have information about, okay, I get settings, my target IP address, port number, I enter 443, and DOS profile I can define test size in very easy way and test duration. But it can be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, never mind. And after that, I have result from my Defender for Cloud. Microsoft Defender for Cloud can detect suspicious activity from my resources. You have information from my affected subscription detected from Microsoft, and you can define actually what we discussed previously. I can define large public IP address and scope for my metric in both byte scope and aggregation, and you can see all information regarding DDoS attack because I previously defined metric and diagnostic settings. That is very important to settings in your configuration and based on my type of attack, and you can define your local time last hour, for example, automatic in 1 minute. I can define inbound byte for my DDoS. In this case, that is 820.1 kilobyte per seconds. And regarding my average input bytes dropped for DDoS public IP address, I have some peak here when I define my public IP address in my geographic zones. And of course, you have a lot of different parameters here. You can find a lot of information regarding this type of demonstration, how we utilized our attack with this type of attack. And actually, how we plan the session, how we create Breaglass public account, that is very easy. You must have a simplified user interface and output experience for that. You can see here, you can define the quote and request demo or login here in order to conducting Microsoft Azure DDoS protection validation, and you have a lot of highlights here. Validation as a service through software as a service, build safety features, offers simplified user interface, elasticity, scales DDoS simulation, agent, lot of defined. But what is prerequisite? You must simplify user interface and out-of-box experience pay per user model. That is actually you can predefine DDoS test sizing and test duration profile in order to enable safer validation by eliminating potential configuration errors. And you can only get some free trial account for that purpose, and that is very simple way to test your DDoS protection strategy and what is a gap and how we define, because that is in conclusion of this workshop a very good practice to test your assumption about how your service respond for attack, for conducting periodic simulation, and during testing you can validate your service for application continue for production expected and everything, and the recommendation to perform such testing staging environment or during the non-peak hours. That's very important in order to minimize the input for production environment. That is strongly recommended from Microsoft. Okay, thank you for your attention, and see you on the next session very soon. And have a nice rest of the day, and bye from my side.